Okay, call a regular select board meeting for January 18th, 2024. First order of business is the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next order of business would be a public comment. Sue, you have anything?
I have nothing.
Okay.
I'm giving you guys a break.
Oh,
How about Happy New Year?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
thank you, Sue. Okay,
So, I'd like to introduce Cindy Reed. She's here from Cathedral Square, which is the company that we'd like to partner with for senior housing. So Cindy, I'll let you go ahead.
Great, thank you for inviting me to be here tonight. It's nice to meet you all. And so I just want to say really briefly who we are, what we do, and what our discussions have been about your work in the Village Center and senior housing. So I'm with Cathedral Square. I'm a real estate developer there. We're a nonprofit housing developer, owner, manager, and service provider for older adults mainly. We have some other housing too, but mainly for older adults. And we have housing communities in Chittenden, Franklin, Grand Island counties. We have about 27 different housing communities. Mainly they're all independent living, although we have 2 licensed assisted living communities, one in Burlington, one in Williston for memory care. But here we're talking about independent living. And so we primarily serve lower income, fixed income, older adults, some mixed income. We're looking at a mixed income community here because we want to try to serve, a variety of residents. We also created the SASH program about 11 years ago, and SASH is an acronym that stands for Support and Services at Home, and it's a Medicare-funded program. The state of Vermont also supports it.
Recording in progress.
We offer that in all of our housing communities, and it helps people age in place. So basically, it's a program that has an on-site SASH coordinator doing care coordination and a very part-time wellness nurse. And so it's all about prevention, wellness, blood pressure checks, finding out what people need, and tailoring programs to those needs, like diabetes or high blood pressure or cooking or any of those kind of things. And it's been evaluated by national firms and has really positive health outcomes and healthcare savings. So we're very committed. We don't really see housing without services. We're very committed to that kind of model. We're very resident focused. We are a fairly large organization, and we are very committed to taking really good care of our properties and of our residents. So when you drive by Cathedral Square properties, we take great pride in how they look, how they feel, how they hold up over time. We're funded with federal, state, local, and private investment dollars in terms of the housing communities. And so that's a little bit about what we do. We also offer SASH throughout the state through many housing and service partners, and we're replicating it in other states, including Rhode Island and California. So we've been busy trying to spread this effective model. And so everyone knows that we're facing a really severe housing crisis in the state, which has really deep roots, not just in the state, the whole country. And we're an aging population, and so we're very committed to trying to make a difference in creating livable, quality service providing communities where older adults can age in place. And so I think that's enough about who we are and what we do. And you can have, obviously,
So I can tell you that of the senior housing developers in Vermont, Cathedral Square is the gold standard. They take care of their people, they take care of their employees, they take care of the residents, they take care of their properties. This is what towns want. This is what we want, is somebody that gives a damn. And Cathedral Square is that company.
So we recently completed a 30 unit building in, I say unit, I mean apartments, building in South Hero, right in the village center. And that's been highly successful. It's right next to the library and the community health center. It's very walkable. And that was a small community with a 30-unit building. There's already a long wait list of over 120 people. That's mixed income. And we have SASH there. And actually the cider office is there too. We have a partnership with them. We're now underway on a project in St. Albans on the former Fonda lot, which was a brownfield. It's a revitalization as well as creating new housing for older adults. That's going to be 33 apartments. We're hoping to break ground sometime in May. So we're going out to bid early March, fingers crossed. And so got an email from Sharon several months ago. And we do get emails from a lot of small towns. You know, people want senior housing, and I'm thinking, okay, we'll talk. And then I met Sharon and heard about all the work that you've done on the village planning committee and looking at the municipal wastewater disposal systems, which is a critical piece for our feasibility. We really can't entertain private water, you know, and sewer is tricky. So that was awesome. And then knowing the vision that you have for, you know, revitalizing your core with some commercial, a new library, making it walkable near the recreation trail near the school, that all super appeals to us. And then knowing that there's really few to know housing options right here, and that was a driving force about the town identifying that need. And then the other thing we do is we have a lot of nice community spaces within our buildings. You know, they're all independent living apartments with full kitchens and everything. But then we also have a community room, and one of the things that we've been having is telehealth. So telehealth, so people can contact their primary care provider with assistance from the nurse on site through the screen. And that works really well if someone's ill or they're anxious or they live far away as here from primary care. So that seems like a really good benefit as well to have that in this facility here. So we're underway in just feasibility planning. And as I said, the water wastewater is really critical to our feasibility, and it sounds like you've done a tremendous amount of work putting that in process. I know it's up for the town vote. So I think I should just stop there and see if you have any specific questions about who we are, what we're doing, what we're thinking about here.
How many units are you looking to put into the core?
30.
30. Wow.
30 is a good number, yeah.
Wow.
It's a good number. The reasons why is it's a good number for operations. It's hard to make it work financially for fewer units, actually.
Yep.
And it's a good number for capital. Like, it's hard to do bigger, and you probably wouldn't want to do bigger here. And we did 30 in South Hero, and that town's, what, half the size of here, and it's, well, the wait list. So that's what we're thinking about is 30, 3-story, per the zoning changes that you've been contemplating. And we procured an architect, and we selected Gossens Bachman Architects, who the town's been using, which was great because we wanted it to be seamless. Since they'd done the master planning and the library design. So we're trying to figure out how to minimize the footprint to allow for the other development that you've all been wanting to see there.
It's all parking garage.
Yeah, we're looking at, no, actually, we're looking at
Really?
under-building parking.
Oh, wow.
So right now, our schematic design, this is very preliminary, is looking at maybe 25 spaces, it might be 24, under the building with some common space there, and then 2 levels of residential, 15 units per floor. So we get 30 to 3 stories. Because of the soils and the water table, I think it's gonna be hard to go below.
Yeah.
So that's what our plan is right now.
Okay.
So, one of the biggest things is we've had a lot of people leave Highgate and go to other places.
Mm-hmm.
So would it be opened up for Highgate residents first, or is it a first come, would you go first come, first serve, or?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we can't, because of fair housing, we can't, what's that called? Have priorities.
Right.
Preferences. But what we do is do a lot of targeted local marketing and a local community meeting so that everyone here knows about it first, essentially. Yeah. And we actually start an inquiry list that our front desk person keeps. And we've already started one. I don't know if anyone's on it yet, but because people start calling right away, like in our St. Albans project, it's gonna be 33 units. We haven't even broken ground yet, and we have 44 people on the inquiry list, which is not an applicant list. It's just people that heard about it, maybe they want it for their mother, or they want it for their sister, or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
but, so local marketing, but not local preference. Because what we find is, our goal is to serve as many local folks as possible.
Yeah,
But sometimes people come from away, they want to be near their adult kids or their grandkids, and that can be a draw from other communities.
That was one of my questions, because I did talk to quite a few Highgate residents last week, and one of the things was, like you said, the waiting lists. Is there a phone number? Because I deal with a lot of senior citizens myself, and they would like the phone numbers so they can get on the list right off. And I had that from a lot of senior citizens last week.
So they can call our direct line.
Okay,
And after the village meeting last week, I made an inquiry list.
okay,
So if they call and say, I'm interested in Highgate Village
Okay.
housing, we'll
Okay.
put them on the list.
okay.
And that's really just an inquiry list, but it's his first step.
But it's a first step to get them on the list. Okay, gotcha.
I was here last week
Yeah,
for the meeting, and they asked a lot of questions of you.
Yeah.
Perhaps they should hear what some of the questions are, such as elevators and sprinklers and other,
one car, one
Yeah.
pet.
one car, one pet.
Sure.
whatever.
Yeah, so let's see, we're planning on 2 elevators because it's 3-story. Sometimes we compromise with a 2-story and do 1 because of the cost, but for resiliency reasons and who we're serving, we want to get the 2 elevators. We do have a pet policy and we're pet friendly. There's a limit on the number of pets and what type, but it is pet friendly, and that's a super important thing for companionship. We will have a full sprinkler system, which we need to have by code, and we're committed to. Our facilities manager was a former firefighter, and he's very clear on that. What's the other thing you mentioned?
It's a secured building too.
Secure building.
Yeah.
And when they,
Push pad to get in.
yeah,
Yeah, lots of good questions last week. Yeah, everyone will have their independent apartment, so it's a full, bedroom, living room, kitchen, bathroom, and then community room, big community room with a kitchen in it, not a commercial kitchen, but a residential kitchen. So people can reserve that room, that live in the building, for family events, and we'll have events in there, programs, activities, we'll have a telehealth room. We're gonna try to squeeze a gym in with some fitness equipment that's age appropriate, which can be great. Sometimes someone's in rehab or trying to strengthen their hip, and so the equipment's great. On-site laundry, and rent includes all utilities, which is heating and cooling, and sash and laundry. So that helps.
How about an alternate power source generator? Suppose, it very seldom happens, that swamp power goes out here.
Yeah.
If there was a need for it, is that a possibility? Is that gonna be on site, or what's going on?
Yeah, so a generator, we always want a generator, and it always tends to be an alternate in our bid package. And sometimes we can afford it and sometimes we can't. I think because of the distance, because of how rural this community is, I know our staff is gonna really want one, and we're gonna do whatever we can to get one. I just can't promise it right now. And what we have been doing is, our last few communities, we've been heating and cooling with air source heat pumps, so they've been electric with natural gas domestic hot water. In St. Albans, we're actually doing a geothermal system, which we really kick the tires on a lot, so that we're using the earth to help temper the heating and cooling. And that will be for heating and cooling and domestic hot water, so we're really excited about it, but we're still gonna have a gas backup boiler for heat and hot water because we're really committed to keeping our residents comfortable. So that's a long-winded answer to the heating and cooling and generator. So the generator's a question mark, but a desired.
do you know if you have a wet sprinkler system or a dry?
That's a good question. I'm learning a lot about sprinklers, but I have a lot to learn. I think in the 2 floors it'll be wet and in the garage dry.
Yeah,
That's what I think, but don't quote me. That's what I think what we have been doing.
okay.
Yeah. And it'll all be signed by our
Yeah.
team.
Minus the build, afterwards, are they gonna be on-site employees?
We will have a SASH coordinator, part-time, a housing manager, which is like a property manager, part-time, and a very part-time wellness nurse, and then a certain number of hours per week of maintenance, tech time, and we'll probably contract custodial services. So all in all, it might be a one full-time equivalent with all those part-time pieces, you know what I mean? Until recently, our SASH coordinator, property manager was a combined role, and as of January, we separated that role due to many years of thinking, and we have a pretty big staff, and so we have a different way now, so it's probably likely a one full-time equivalent.
Okay. So I'm assuming these are, I got your handout, I'm on your website right now, apartments where you're self-sustaining seniors,
Yes, yeah, independent living.
independent living. What I was looking for, is there a desire for you guys to have, we're gonna have a grocery store right by Sorcy's,
Yes.
so I can walk there, but what about a restaurant? Because there's some talk about this might, you guys putting this here might draw a restaurant.
That would be
to-
so exciting. We can't
Okay.
develop the restaurant.
Right, I know.
I don't know how to do that, but no, like South Hero, which is very rural as
Right,
well.
right.
There's bagel deli there, and one of the residents works there part-time, and just changed ownership, but they managed to keep it open. So that's really important. It's a gathering space. There's a new restaurant just down the road, four brothers. So I think that would be fabulous. I mean, I think the vision that you have about having an active village center with, people interacting with the library and the kids and the school and the walkable to the store and the post office and bringing in a restaurant, it just sounds so great for building for the future. And for keeping older people here and not having to leave to go to other towns where we lose their memory and their history and, all that important thing about a community fabric.
Awesome, thank you.
Any question?
Yeah, how big footprint per square, say, for the unit, and how much land would that take up in that back corner? And do you have the layout thing?
Yeah.
The Selectboard has it? Okay.
Yeah.
I just see it from Clarence just now, so I was curious what that was and how large of a
The building footprint.
square footage on the bottom actually print itself, and you said like a car per person?
Yes,
You want me to square that?
Yes, we're talking about 1 car per apartment,
Yeah.
not per person. So right now we're thinking about 26 one-bedroom units and 4 two-bedrooms. So the two-bedroom units, depending if there's a couple in any of the units, it's still 1 car per apartment.
Right, okay.
So we're thinking of a 1-to-1 parking space per apartment
Thank you.
ratio. And that's a draft.
Right.
So we're looking at an L-shaped building because we're trying to.
But that's not the,
No, that L-shaped building's happened since this,
okay.
because this is also schematic, which is like preliminary. So we're sort of taking that another level, and because we have the same architect that you all have been using, which is super helpful, we're thinking at L to minimize the setbacks, so that we're kind of building close to the back
To the
border.
back, on the back property.
Yeah, like here. And then we're trying to just take as little space we can, but it's gonna be a big building, but I don't know the square footage
Okay,
of the footprint.
and what's the trajectory of the time span that you'd like to do something like this?
Well, we've talked about different schedules and assumptions, because a lot needs to happen. But it's always good to set goals, because that helps make things happen. And so I don't think it's out of the question that we could start construction in spring of 2025.
Okay.
So that's what we're aiming for. Is that gonna happen? I don't know, but we're aiming for that, and that is, a lot needs to happen on the water wastewater system, the voters, all those pieces, and getting our funding and permitting lined up.
Whose job would it be to prep this to see what you could do with, like, pressure of water and sewer and stuff like that? Where would the money come, would that come from the town for, if we're selling the property?
So the idea is Cathedral Square will purchase 1 acre more or less. We're trying to get that situated with the surveyor now. But the town would supply water and wastewater. So the project that you worked on
Yep.
before to get,
I worked on
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
to get that disposal field at Wright's property, which is now the town's,
Right.
and to get that system in place to the Macy property. That's vital to going forward for Cathedral Square
Right,
because
without that, you don't have anything.
absolutely.
But, and the water, I think Clarence mentioned something about, we had talked before about water systems as the rink.
Yes.
Have you discussed that with, as far as being able to get the water across the tracks to get?
Yes, the water across the tracks is not a problem.
Not a problem?
No, no. It'll be another grant, which I'm looking for
Sure.
now.
Good.
But for construction of the wastewater right now, we have $1,457,719 of state ARPA fund.
What's our cut? We have to have a percentage of that?
That percentage is Zipola,
Okay.
so that's full.
Yeah.
And then we have a clean water state revolving fund, commitment from the state of $2,550,000. That is not guaranteed all forgivable,
Right.
but EDA has offered to help and provide some funding. And the Northern Borders Regional Commission also has grants opening. So we are applying for everything we can get our hands
And
on.
that should have been because we're far enough ahead
Yes.
on our program for
Exactly.
town of Highgate to actually make that happen. Sure.
Yes.
Okay, great. That's what I want to hear. Thank you.
Is there any studies been made on what the final town's gonna end up paying? I know we're gonna have sewer, that costs us money, but you're saying that it's gonna be put in by the state, you know? But the state funds runs out, and you gotta take care of that stuff. And what's the net cost to the town? Because our taxes are high enough now.
They are high, but thankfully we're a lot less than the neighboring towns.
Well, they're high enough.
They are high enough, but
What's the
first,
net? Any study?
so first let's qualify. It's not sewer, it's wastewater. So you'll still have a sewer tank, but the effluent water, so all the water out of your septic tank will go to a giant leach field. That's all that is. It's just pumping that water to the Macy property, which now owned by the town. The state is in a position where they received a huge amount of ARPA money and a lot of federal money as part of this Build America program and part of the COVID money. So the COVID money, that's the $1.45719 million that we received as a grant. So that cost the town nothing.
Yeah, there's always a cost to it.
There is a maintenance cost, but Cathedral Square's going to pay for water and wastewater. Tibby Valley has already called and asked about putting the Irving Station on water and wastewater. The Jolly Store has also called about putting their system on this wastewater, and that brings in dollars. Now, according to our engineer, what we get from Cathedral Square and the other commercial interests and any possible residential systems or people that would like to join onto the system, the funds we raise from that will be enough to sustain that system for its lifetime. So any maintenance you have on that, which is minimal because basically it's a couple of pumps, line, and a leach field.
Is that good for progress?
Yes.
For more, how much? Or
So,
Business or big-
so right now they're looking at 20 to 30,000 gallons per day. So that, the Macy property they figured was gonna be 6,500 gallons a day. So you got that covered right off. So Cathedral Square is covered, no problem. Any commercial development you wanna do there, if we decide to put the library and community center there, you'd have that coverage.
What about the school, could you put that on it?
The school has their own system.
Yeah, but that fails often.
Yes, but that's also not our property.
Yeah, but that's still part of the tax. It should be all laminated together, to do the system.
I
They're
know.
not.
They're not.
It's totally different. They took it.
They, when Act 60 happened, they just took the whole thing over.
Yeah.
But so far, with the improvements they've made, their septic system seems to be functioning at the moment. I know Dougie Rollo went in there and then, well, Chris, you can speak more to this than I can for the septic system.
I mean, there's maintenance to it, but they're self-sufficient.
Right.
And it's the district's
Because
issue.
all my life, they tore that up, Bobby,
Yeah.
5, 6 times, I know of my lifespan.
This also would help the village neighbors. So if you look at the housing in the village, most of that's older housing. Like your mom's house was an older build. A lot of those homes are older. You have a lifespan in a septic system. You know, the state says anywhere from 25 to 40 years, depending on what your system is.
Is that one the same?
No, this is over
What's the
50
lifespan of
years.
that one?
Over 50 years.
50 years?
Sure, and we purchased enough land at the time that we could grow
Yes.
beyond what you're talking about now. The land that we actually purchased on that when we bought that. So we've got that covered for future, and there will be, you know? Yep. Just a reminder,
Yep.
a lot of room to grow.
So Sharon, got a question. Now, July when we voted, that land down on, that we just purchased was for a leach line, where, a lot of people are asking, where's the sewer going? Because you kept,
No sewer.
okay, so
No.
Cathedral Square is taking care of the sewer?
Yeah, well, they'll take care of the main septic tanks. but
Okay,
the
that's-
wastewater,
Okay.
they would hook to the
Okay, so,
panels.
okay.
Right,
Okay,
But there still will be pumping, because you still gonna have to pump that.
yes.
right,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're planning for on-site septic tanks.
okay.
That will then connect to the wastewater disposal fields.
They answered my question, because
Yeah.
we were, okay,
Yeah, occasionally I say sewer, and that's not appropriate. It's actually just wastewater, so
Yeah.
just the water out of your
yeah,
sewer. Water,
gray water.
urine, you know.
It's actually black water. I mean, you want to be technical, it's not your water.
But what we're trying to do is, for the town, one of the articles that'll come up at town meeting this year will be, will the voters of the town of Highgate agree to sell Cathedral Square, 1 plus or minus acres, for the amount of $100,000? The other article will be, will the town approve to go forward with construction on the village wastewater system? And what I want to do is put an amount on that. So what I'd like to do is qualify that, saying that the voters give a yes as long as we can get 95% of the funding paid for, which is a big goal. But out of the estimated $4 million cost, it would cost the town $200,000. But you're getting to $100,000 from Cathedral Square, which would knock you down to 100, which, if it kills me, I'm gonna find enough money to cover that too. Because $100,000, even if it were to have to go to the voters for $100,000, that's less than what we spend in gravel.
It would be good return on investment.
Right, because not only are you gonna get that 100,000 from Cathedral Square, you're also gonna get taxes.
Yeah.
They pay taxes.
That's right.
And it's not going to be a $50,000 building. It's going to be in the millions, that building.
No exception for those, for you folks to given you any tax breaks before? When you do these buildings? If
There
it
is,
happens?
for properties that have a housing subsidy covenant,
Say,
for properties that have a covenant on them to keep them affordable, there's a discount on the taxes, and there's a state formula that we follow,
Okay.
that listers follow.
yeah, no, I was aware of
So it's not the full freight tax payment,
Yeah,
but it's a good tax payment, and it's per the state law, because we can't have unlimited rents, we have a limited cash flow.
yeah. No, I'm aware of that.
Yeah, so
I just
recognize.
try not to open everybody's
Yeah,
eyes a little bit.
so it is
know
a
that.
discounted property tax that we pay that sees the value of keeping rents affordable. Yeah,
Right.
good question.
So does the property need to be subdivided?
Yes. But it can't be subdivided until we get the property lines surveyed, because we have an issue on one of the property lines.
Well, the town owns it, so the town's responsibility to do that part of it.
Yes.
And bring that in front of the voters.
Yeah, Barnard and Jarvis are doing the survey.
Yeah.
What about a study to make sure that it's not gonna cost, to really know the bottom line on this? Those things are all nice, oh, we're gonna get money here, we get money. Once you get started, well, we ain't got enough. And I went through that with Arena. The Arena was the same thing, it was good for the community, but we end up paying for it.
So you buy a calf tomorrow, how much is it gonna cost to raise? You don't know.
Well,
You can
know-
guess how
Yeah.
much grain
You
you're gonna
can
give it,
be a
you can
pretty
guess
close
how
guess.
much hay you're gonna give it, but
Yeah.
you can't
You don't know what
give
you're gonna get for it.
exact, right. Can't
So-
be exact. You have to go based on a formula. How much, is the permitting gonna cost? How much is the engineering gonna cost? How much are you gonna charge for hookup rates? How much flow is the average flow from a one-bedroom apartment? So we can take all these figures and give you our best guess. Can I be exact? No, nobody can.
I also don't think it's very practical even to think that it's not gonna cost us anything.
It's gonna cost town.
There's no project worth doing that isn't gonna cost us something. But you gotta look, to me, you gotta look at the bigger picture of how that's gonna benefit the town and those people that are in those apartments, that are in affordable apartments, who would be forced out of town, or, they're gonna be doing business in town at the local stores and so forth. So there's a lot more to look at. Believe me, I pay my fair share of taxes too, and this board has always been very aware of trying to keep our taxes down. But anything worth doing, we can't think it's gonna be a free check, because we all know there's nothing free. So to me, it's calculated on what the benefit is to the plus and the minus.
I'd like to add to that as well, Kyle. It's also going to benefit for the community adjoining, like Sharon said, all these small places. Now, water and sewer are so close together that, that doesn't mix, not close to. And all our little villages really need to have that happen eventually. So we're going to gain, because there's a percentage you're going to pay whoever does hitch up towards that system. And that's all going to go back into your community, every bit of that.
And you can't tell me that that's not gonna help property values.
100%. Yeah, 100%. So that's all a plus.
Yeah,
Chris? Yeah, one thing that Sharon didn't mention too is we have reached out to other towns, and we have checked with towns that are similar to ours that would have similar systems to see if there's unforeseeable expenses and whatnot. So, I mean, we're not just, taking some engineer's word and going with just that. There has been some background and research and whatnot. And then to what Kyle said, that any projects worth doing does have a cost to it. I do agree with that. But this is one of the rare opportunities that the state of Vermont really is pushing these wastewater treatment systems in smaller towns. And this is an opportunity for the town to actually get a system for a pretty small amount of money. I mean, a $4 million system, potentially $200,000.
It'll never happen again. It'll never happen again.
Is it just sewer gonna happen, and is there gonna be water going with it? Does that stuff almost gonna be done together?
There's no sewer.
What is sewer? Oh, like gray water.
No, black water.
What do you call it?
Black water.
Black water, God. Because when you're digging and putting, all the houses in town gonna be able to get onto it?
Not to start with.
Is they gonna be able later on?
Probably not everyone.
To me, you're serving half the town.
Not everybody wants to anyway.
No.
They
Well,
want to
there's
keep
quite a
it
few in
moving
town would.
as long as they can. But if they have problems, then that could, we do have room to grow.
And that costs money.
That was the idea.
That costs money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna take that money to build the infrastructure, to be able to have more houses on that, so there's no way you're gonna think this is not gonna cost taxpayers something. But you also know that for this lady to be here tonight, not everybody gets this green light. Not every town that approaches. I agree with you, Jock. I don't wanna pay more taxes, but there's no way.
So we're basically saying we will pay more taxes.
What do you ever do in life that you don't pay more? You tell me anything we do nowadays
Well,
that's
I
cost
agree,
more.
if the town people benefit, but only a handful, the town, in the village benefit, we're taxpayers too.
Ultimately, everybody's gonna benefit, in my opinion.
Our taxes will be lower, that's the only way I would benefit.
Yes, a building will be added to the grand list. That's not on there right now, so yes.
Yeah.
It would be.
Has your taxes gone down since 1975?
Well, at least they say the same is pretty good, but
No.
they're roughly running $1,000 a year more.
Talk to the school.
That's honestly, and sadly, that's a lot of truth, because a lot of that, obviously, you look at our tax bills, was it 85% is the school and 15% is the town?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a school.
it's pretty much, is that true?
Oh, you're absolutely right. I'm very glad I'm not on that board anymore. There's a lot of daggers getting thrown that way right now. So. I'm sure there is.
But that's another thing with Cathedral Square.
Bingo.
There's no children.
Bingo.
You are not spending over $19,000 per child per year, because this brings or sustains a group of people that don't put a burden on your school system.
And they deserve the rights to be in a proper home.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the best things I like about Cathedral Square is you can have a pet. I'd rather live in a box than go somewhere I couldn't take my pet. I mean, and I think that's awesome.
I think they paid the dues over the years.
Absolutely. And Jock, just not to pick on you, but to take your own situation. You're fortunate because your son lets you live at that home. What if you didn't have that option?
Well, I looked at that.
I know, but-
When I was planning my retirement,
You know, what if,
I could have got $1 million for my farm, but I didn't. I just wanted enough to live and a place to live.
but you're fortunate, what about those people
Fortunately, I
that,
worked hard for that.
I know,
Believe me.
but there
I
are-
pay the taxes sometimes.
there are a lot of folks that work hard in town that don't have that option. They either have to sell their home because they can't afford it, or they can't maintain it.
A lot of them could put some money away. They don't.
Some could. But, you know, it's an opportunity for some people.
Taiwan.
For some, that's what I'm saying.
I think one thing we're forgetting about is getting a community of 30 residents is a huge attraction to a commercial building. If I was thinking about putting a bakery in somewhere, why wouldn't I put it in there? You know that at least one of those residents a week or a day are coming in, probably most of the time multiple. It's just the right set of steps. You put that house in, and it's going to attract the right amount of growth. It's not going to be the huge growth that a lot of us don't want. It's going to be the right healthy growth in Highgate.
CJ had a question.
Clarence?
Back in 1974, when their Economic Development Act funds were available, Highgate jumped on board. And they put this building up and they put the arena up. And I think they've both been positive to the operation of this town. And I think Cathedral Square would be a positive. Not stepping backwards, you're going forward. If you fall down, you don't want to fall backwards, you want to fall forward. At least you're gaining. And we got to continue gaining.
You young people have to worry about that. It's us old people.
Young people.
Sorry, like, we can have a new hit right here? Yeah.
I had to throw that out. I can't.
Sue?
Richard, I would have loved to see this 50 years ago when I was living right on this main drive. We had nothing back here. We had an arena back of the store. And to see this develop, I'm 100% backing it. Because we need it and we want it. And I hope the town residents really open their eyes, because this is once in a lifetime to move forward and move this town. I mean, I'm hearing from a lot of people and they are really excited. I am getting the word out. I think Sharon, with the postcard that you mentioned last week, and that should be brought up, I think that's going to be a big plus, because there was a lot of people didn't say, what do you mean senior housing? They did not know anything about this at all. So I want to thank you for getting the postcards, getting ready, and I think that's going to be a big help to get the word out. That's the main thing, is to get the word out.
I guess the question I would have, has anyone spoken to local EMS about coverage and so forth? Making sure that there's plenty of coverage for EMS. That's just something I'm just throwing out there, that you have an older crowd.
Emergency services.
Emergency services, yeah.
We haven't gotten to that point yet. But I'm sure it's part of technical review.
I'm sure it is. I was just curious if that had been talked about.
Yeah, I think that would be part of our due diligence, but.
Steve, I'd like just to make a suggestion as well. If I'm looking at that and what I heard you say, I think your blueprint should be more accurate for the people knowing what's actually going to happen. That would be a better choice for knowing, you know what I'm getting at. Like you're talking about an L shape.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not in here, so that could be that's a rough. I got it.
Yeah, and
But
our
I mean, when,
just
right.
Yeah, we just need something more final for people to see it.
Into the town meeting timings, if you're gonna push it that quick, I think it should be probably a little more proper, your boundaries and size, so that people actually see what it looks like, because if they see that and it turns out totally different, and that could be, you know, people look at what they see.
Right, and Sharon and I can talk about what would be appropriate for you and how we could get you what you need.
Yes, and give her a chance. I mean, she's been phenomenal about getting this rolling. As a matter of fact, I think she's pushing me all the way. But she's been awesome. Cindy and her group has been awesome to work with, and they really want to come here.
Well, Sharon, my hat's off to the committees that worked on this.
Absolutely, all of you have done a
And
great
we're
job.
getting paid since I've left.
Yeah.
And what I've done to help start this project, and I'm a little bit impressed. I'll take it that way. So it's a good thing. It's a good for the community. We knew we wanted to grow. I didn't know if we'd grow, how fast we were going to grow. Figured like 10 years out, whatever. But no, this committee's done well. I'm happy to see it.
We had a speaker come in, Burke and White, who's done a lot of development in St. Albans.
Right.
And they told us that as much as we might want to go commercial, that it was going to be difficult in Highgate.
Yep.
You have a small population. We're kind of a pass-through town, but Cathedral Square could be our centerpiece. And like Ty said, once you have that center,
100%.
you are going to draw other people. And 30 apartments, that's 30 foster grandparents. That's 30 new volunteers for the rec center. That's,
The schools.
yeah, it could be phenomenal. Cathedral Square makes sure that there are gardens where these seniors can go out. The library is tickled to work with seniors to help with new programming, whether it be book clubs or all these other things. And I bet Jess's mind's whirling thinking of all the things she could do with all these extra people. You know, that pickleball tournament could really whip them up into shape there.
You'd be surprised what those ladies can throw, right?
That's right. So I mean, I think of it as keeping our loved ones in town. You are not having them go to St. Albans. And in St. Albans, frankly, there's a 5-year wait to get into senior housing. Here you could have your mother, your sister, your brother, yourselves go into an affordable place to live that allows you to stay in our community, allows you to stay next to your grandchildren, your children, your community, your friends.
A lot of people know of their parents, grandparents that are homes not in Highgate, that are from Highgate. They're in Richford, they're all
They won't
over,
come back.
because there is nothing. And I know exactly what you're saying, that's now, so, anything, you know, on that, it's a plus, that's for sure, for your local people especially.
And none of us want to ask the town for more money. We have always been extremely conservative. It's one of the reasons people move here, is because our tax rate is lower than a lot of places.
I don't get carried away.
In Vermont, surely.
Yeah, Vermont.
But it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. There is money out there. We're gonna be very diligent in finding as much money as we can. Will it cost zero? If I have anything to say about it, it will cost zero, but we can't guarantee it. We can't guarantee anything. But this is an opportunity to start a village development with an extremely strong partner, an extremely helpful and willing partner to make good things happen in town.
I did bring some materials, I've got some annual reports, a general flyer, and there's extras here.
Yes, and there is some stuff on
And then
the
this
table
is
here that
maybe
gives you some
some here,
facts and
this is-
figures for Cathedral Square.
So these are for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for everybody, but there's more than enough.
I got kind of a question, Cindy. This is obviously going to come up at town meeting day. Is there? I was just looking on your website. You've got a thing on here: housing communities under development.
Yes.
You got St. Albans and Kelly's Field and Heinsberg under.
Yeah.
Is there any way, like, you could do the drawing, put that drawing or the updated drawing on your website,
Yeah,
so that we can steer the townspeople to the website?
absolutely.
So they have something, and that would draw them to your website too to see what you're all about.
Yeah, I love
See
it.
what it looks like, that makes sense.
Yeah. And Sharon, you and I can talk about, if you
Yes.
want that plan updated, we'll have Greg can help with that, to help with your process.
Yep.
But yeah, I didn't even think of that. I mean, I don't think websites.
I'm a picture guy, and I think a lot of
Yeah.
people are, so
Yeah,
that would help.
And we want to get as many people involved as
Yeah.
possible. We're not trying to pull one over on the taxpayer, we're not trying to hide anything, we're not trying to be secretive or sneaky. We're saying we have this opportunity. You get to vote on it.
I think something that's gonna be huge is, for a yes vote at town meeting, is projected tax revenue. of this development. I mean, you can look at costs all you want, but math doesn't lie. If the projected tax revenue, it's a 5-year return on investment, it's, I don't know, some people are still gonna say no matter what, but the working majorities, I guess, right?
But the projected tax revenue is for the whole property lot, not just that Cathedral Square spot.
How many acres you got
There's
there?
gonna be taxed.
Pardon?
How many acres you got now there?
2.5,
And they're gonna take what?
1 plus or minus.
What's going on the other half?
That's where
You don't know.
we haven't found a partner. We looked at a partner for maybe a restaurant or cafe, outdoor seating. We don't have a commitment from them yet, but we've talked about it. It's possible maybe we could come into a developer that wanted to build a new building and we could put a post office in there. If we could get a long-term lease with the United States Post Office. Maybe you get a dentist, maybe you get a hairdresser, maybe
What
you
about
get a
store?
doctor. Pardon?
What about a store?
You might get a store. I think the group has been very cautious about approaching another store because of David's. They want to
David wants out.
today, but not tomorrow, and the next day. But we don't want to harm David is what I'm getting at. Right, we don't want to drive him out. We want to help the businesses we have in town now.
It's just a matter of time, Dave said he.
It is. At that time,
I
in the
think that's
future,
important.
yeah, absolutely. I think in the future that there could be a grocery store there.
Sharon, we had David come in, I don't know if you remember that, to make sure that he understood that that would never happen on that part, and offered him as well. So that was already been addressed, and he was aware of that, so that was all positive. He didn't have anything negative about. We made sure to do that already when I was when I was the chair of that.
Same with McEwen's, they're gonna.
Make sure that everybody understood, was happy with what was going on, and try to keep everybody informed. So that, when you're bringing that up, that had been addressed by when I was the chair of that committee as well. So,
And it might be that for the next 5 years, no commercial goes there. Because the town's not gonna develop it, because we don't have the money. It's to find somebody who's willing to come in and say, I'm gonna put a building up.
But you could sell at a decent price where somebody could
Yes.
come in.
Yes, yep, absolutely.
Because there was talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know David had actually approached, not Stop and Shop, but what is his, Sure Shine? What is his grocery group?
It is, I think it is Sunshine.
So he had approached his grocery group to talk about putting a grocery store there and him coming to run it. They aren't ready to do that at this point. Maybe in 5 years they would be. You know, maybe in 2 years.
Maybe with 30 residents living next door, they might be.
Right, it gives you a heck of a bonus to start.
Yeah, that's the draw.
Yes.
You know, what is that, Kevin Costner baseball, when you build it, they will come.
It's funny you say that.
We got
all the way through this. That's a lot of to see who builds it. Then it opens opportunities for a lot more
This
to
is
come.
the best, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and been Highgate resident for, I don't know, close to 20. The best thing I think that's happened to the core that we could possibly have right now is something like this. Yes, it's gonna cost some money, you gotta spend money to make money. What Shelley said about the grand list, it's gonna add to the grand list. So look at the footprint of this building, the amount of people that are there, and the benefit that comes to the town. One of the issues we have is, you know, taking over these roads with plows and stuff, and we just don't have the revenue right now, thanks to the grand list, to take over these roads. Well, they're gonna put the small footprint of this small building relatively, brings all that tax money in. When I got tax money to look at these roads, we might be able to take over later, to replace the trucks, get the extra driver, that kind of thing. Personally, I see this as nothing but a positive. The positive is definitely outweighing the negative, in my opinion, for everything that everybody's brought up.
By a long shot.
Yeah. And we'll still have the asset of the remaining land. You know, for now, it might just be a mowed lawn for the residents of Cathedral Square. If we can find somebody who's willing to put the $1 million into rehab that house, I'd love them to have it. But so far, that person hasn't come along.
Why $1 million in town?
Because it's roughly gonna be $1 million to upgrade that, based on the 2 quotes that the village core committee got.
And what would you do with it after you spent $1 million? Who would want it?
Oh no, the town would pay $1 million. We're trying to find somebody who
I
would
understand
buy
that.
it and pay.
No, I understand that.
What,
You still got that horse until you
don't take $1 million to tear the house down.
No.
No, that's to rehab the
We're saying
house.
to rehab it, if you were gonna leave it there and fix it up.
Make it livable again.
But yeah, it may end up that the best route for the town is to tear it down. Preservation Trust came on Wednesday, and I took the gentleman through the Macy property. He looked at it. He thought he might know some people that might be interested in fixing it up. If that's the case, yahoo! If it's not, well, we can afford to wait a little bit longer and see if somebody else comes along. If they don't, we can always tear it down.
If it goes down, it's addition by subtraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just picture a nice little restaurant in there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
People from every town,
Yeah.
because there's not enough of that here now.
Right.
Small town restaurants. or-
Small town restaurant.
Now, Eadsburg just opened some up, and people are flooding it. Down at Highgate could do the same thing, in the front, like that frontage we're talking. Like you said, all the people in the back. If I was by myself, when I go to my woodlot, my sugar, I don't eat and I can't. I go to a restaurant. I'm too lazy to cook, you know, and it's done, and you get to visit, you know, and stuff like that. So when you're talking about a community like that, they would be in that. You know, I would say that. I wouldn't hesitate to say that. You just would take the incentive of somebody that, and restaurant business is a very tough business, so it takes a lot of guts to do that. I know people that run them.
So are there any other questions for Cindy?
Thank you.
I can tell you,
Thank you very much.
she's spending a lot of time in Highgate lately.
We've had a great time,
Yeah.
Sharon and I,
Yeah.
and the committee members.
Awesome.
But yes, she has done an awesome job, and matter of fact, the building in St. Albans that they're putting up is gonna be named in her honor.
Very nice.
Well, sir.
So,
Impressive.
makes for,
I didn't name it.
All right, read comments.
Yeah, I
Okay, I
didn't name
just,
it.
yeah, we put it together,
The
okay.
boss named it.
Awesome.
Okay,
so it means she's a very important part
Yeah.
of Cathedral Square, so we're very fortunate to have her.
okay.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Rec update, recreation update.
Thank you so much. Thank you too. Drive
I
safe.
just got, basic stuff that's been going on over the past year.
Yeah.
In general, all of our programs have grown. No program has gotten less participants.
Excellent.
That's good. Most have grown by 5 to 15 participants from previous years, so it's.
Good job.
Currently, we're obviously in late season, so hockey, public skate actually has been doing really well. We've had about 1,500 skaters so far this year. There's still 8 to 10 more skates that are scheduled, and then for vacations I add more popular ones. We added adult stick and puck during the week. I know some people weren't happy about it, the place was open, so we figured we might as well open it up for people that are around. We've been averaging about 6 of them that come every week, so it's worth it. We've had the schools come over to skate like every year. Gym class, NVU, and Sheldon have come. We also have our basketball program running right now. That We have one team for each age level. Because our numbers grew, we were able to buy new backboards for the younger group. So now they're playing on the correct height. So that's always good. Last month, we were busy with the holiday stuff. We had Steve at Santa. Special thanks to Santa for stopping in and actually getting on the ice this year. And the Grinch. Grinch is always popular. We had our holiday light parade. That grew again this year. So we had more trucks and more people out seeing it even in the rain. I wanted to say thank you to the Highgate Fire Department for helping with the traffic control, because that's always sketchy, especially in the rain. This year we added a lighted bus tour, which was very popular. Thank you to Curtis for driving the big blue bus for us. Sharon actually figured out a route, and we drove around and saw everybody's houses that were lit up, and Curtis honked the horn. The kids voted which house they wanted, and we filled up 3 buses worth. So that was definitely popular, and we'll be doing that again next year. Earlier in the season, we had soccer. That grew from the previous year. We had almost 40 pre-K kids, which is nice to see, because most of them will continue. We were able to have 2 teams for first and second grade, which I'm not sure if that's happened before, and we had a solid 3rd and 4th grade, so hopefully we have some kids that will move up to the school team next year. We were able to hold our cross-country team again. We also had our fun run where we had an addition of Richford kids, which was nice because it was a real competition.
Yeah.
Little League, we were able to renovate the softball field and the Kewen field, thanks to the help of some grants. We're looking at some ways to keep those fields correct and playable, since we put all of that money into them. Registration will be opening soon. We're going to try to open it a little bit earlier to try to attract more players and get that set. We have some new programs coming up this year. We always do turf type soccer, and we're going to do the basketball program, and we received stuff from Little League to do a T-ball program. So we're going to do the turf type T-ball program, which hopefully will pull some kids in that will eventually be playing regular T-ball. And by the request of some community members, we're going to try to add some volleyball. So we're going to start on the turf, and then if it catches on, we'll find somewhere to put a volleyball court. That's pretty much what we've been up to.
Been not doing much. You've done a great job. Fantastic job. Kudos to all of you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Jess has already gotten interest from other groups that have never rented ice from us for next year. She's got interest from a roller derby team that cannot use their rink that their normal home is for summer rental of the arena. Make-A-Wish.
Oh, Make-A-Wish is gonna hold their banquet at the arena in April, beginning of April. So that will be a new addition to, I guess they outgrew where they were previously having it. So they're not the arena.
So they're gonna have it at the rink now.
Yes.
Awesome.
Very nice.
And the dog hunt.
The clinic will be in.
Yep.
Nobody's got that all scheduled.
Oh, yeah. March 23rd.
And we continue to grow, Jess continues to grow the advertising on both the sports fields and the usher boards inside the ice arena, so.
It's good to see the rink being used 12 months a year. It really, really is to see it grow. I wish I had it when I was here, because I would have been there all the time, but I didn't have that option. And we're very fortunate to have the rink here in Highgate. Very fortunate.
Yes, we are.
So for the arena, if the federal budget ever passes, hopefully our appropriation from Senator Welch will bring the town $403,000 for a new roof and a new entrance. We're also, I have 2 grants out for a new recreation pavilion that we're waiting to hear back from. And looking into some other grants for them, so we're trying to push that right along so we can get ourselves situated nicely.
Very nice work.
So I got a question, basketball. So do you have games, or you got games scheduled, or is it just you bring them in and show them the fundamentals and that's it, or do you try to get some other towns to?
Yeah, all of our basketball is held at the Highgate Elementary School. For 1st and 2nd grade, it's just practices. They practice twice a week for an hour. They have enough where they do inter-squad scrimmages.
Yeah.
I believe there's 12 of them. I tried to schedule them against other towns, and they said that at that level, they don't play games, so we've been just doing inter-squad stuff. For the 3rd and 4th grade, we do play against other towns. They have 2 slots a week, so it's either 2 practices or a practice and a game. We play against Franklin. Last night they played against Albert. Usually we play against Swanton, but our schedules didn't go together, so this year we didn't make against them, but previous years we've always played against them. And I want to say that there's another town, I can't remember. Sheldon? Sheldon will also play against the 3rd floor.
Good. Like that. Thank you. Anybody else have anything?
Just thanks again for all you're doing. You're doing a fantastic job.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Jessica put together a very nice picture page for the town report that I had to kindly tell her we won't print because they just look terrible in black and white after the print shop. So she said she's gonna have a nice display at town meeting for everyone to see those beautiful photos.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, thanks again, and moving right along. Town treasurer, Shelley, you're up.
I am, I didn't give you this yet. There's your very large check warrant and the naughty list. You want to see that black and white?
Going up to the naughty list.
The naughty list.
Okay. Has everyone had a chance to look at the check warrants?
Yes.
Okay. So.
Make a motion to accept the checklist.
Okay, I have a motion from Mary. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second from Vern. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0.
Okay, you're signing that. Delinquent tax update. Our balance right now is $175,265.69. As you can see on your desk, and this is the list that will be printed in the town report. Sorry, it was not in your email, but there are many T's next to names, and those are the people that will be going forward in the tax sale. They now owe more than 1 year, and they have yet to contact me to set up any kind of payment arrangement. So unfortunately, they can get a letter from the attorney. Maybe that will start payments. I know, it's them, not you. I know, I can still hear the Gore Road crew outside. Other than that, we've been working on the town report. It is going to the printers tomorrow. The only 2 pages I'm waiting on are the warning, which you should be signing this evening. It has come together quite nicely. And it says budget update, but you guys had that in the email. That's it for me.
Okay.
Can I say something quickly?
Yeah.
now that we've started the new year, it'd be smart if people comes in, talk to Shelley, come in, put some money on your taxes. I've done it for the last 4 years and it's been a godsend. And I've had a couple other people that has come in. I wanna thank Shelley personally, because I know that's a lot of extra paperwork for her, but she's thinking of our town residents. And I have talked to quite a few town residents, and I've had some that has come in, but it should be really stressed, because taxes are not gonna go down, it's gonna get tougher for the people, and if they budget it, even, it doesn't make any difference how much you put on, it's what?
It's lowering that big bill at the end.
Correct,
Yes.
correct. And
My tax bill usually comes the same time as my first propane bill,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
also like homeowner's insurance and car insurance.
Correct.
So it's never a good time.
But I know I've done it for the last 4 years, and it's really helped me tremendous, and I have talked to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's not just for delinquent taxpayers.
No,
There's many on my list, and many that Sue have
Yes.
recruited that do come and pay monthly, so
yes.
they're.
I can't stress it enough, because you never know what happens.
Oh, I did want to say one more thing before you move on as well. Putting that book together, there's a nice informational sheet that's being advertised for your informational evenings. Your first one is February 1st. I am not here, so if there is anything you need from me for that evening, let me know ahead of time.
Okay.
I will be out of town.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Shelley. Wendy, you're up.
Yep, I've got a lot more than usual.
Okay.
I got my brief for you.
So, you have 2 sets of minutes. We'll start with that December 7th and then December 21st, which was your budget session.
Okay. Can I have a motion for the minutes on the 7th?
I'll make the motion to accept minutes on the
Okay,
7th.
Mary,
I'll second it.
Scott, second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. And now the meeting on the 21st. Motion,
I'll make that motion to accept 21st.
Mary motion.
You were here.
Was I here?
You were.
Okay, I'll second that.
And second by Vernon.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay.
I have to abstain.
Yeah, okay, so,
I abstain.
so the
3 others.
the 3 yeses and 2 abstains.
Yep. Okay, so next I have. Walk away. Certificate of approved location for raised used cars and salvage. This is a form that you sign yearly. It is, the DRB has already looked at it, did their drive-bys, they're satisfied with the condition of the property, it looks great, everything is behind the fences as it should be. This letter was prepared by Carolyn, but it is to be signed by Richard, if you make a motion to do so. So it's here, basically says it's all in compliance and that they're giving him the 1-year certificate of approved location. They can do up to 3 years, but the town's decided to do it yearly just to keep things in check.
I'll make the motion to say
I
that.
have a motion by Kyle, I have a second. A second by Mary. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Town meeting. So today was the deadline for voter-driven petitions. You had instructed Mr. Reader if he wanted to have his article go before the voters to get the signatures. So he has done that. I have them here. He was required to get 5% of the voter checklist. Our checklist, as of today, is at an even 2,400, so 5% is 120 signatures. He collected 155. 137 of them are valid registered voter signatures. There were 18 that I had to eliminate from the list, either because they were registered in another town, they weren't registered at all, they had signed multiple pages. Different reasons, but there were 18 that I had to eliminate. So he has 137 valid signatures. And the requirements were that he had at least 5% of the registered voter signatures, that the petition language was listed on every page on which signatures were collected, which it is, it's that highlighted yellow question. And the last one was that it shows the printed name, signature, and street address of each registered voter who signed. So I looked it over, I had Shelley verify it, so as far as I'm concerned, he has done what you asked him to do. I don't know if you want me to leave it on the table for people to look at, but there it is. So that is part of the warning, which we'll discuss in just a second. Consent of candidate forms and petitions to have your name on the ballot. Those are not due till the 29th of January, and you need 25 registered voter signatures, 24 technically, it's 1%. I do have Kyle's, Vern's, and Mary's. I've gotten Phil Ledoux's. So there are still a few out there. I need those by 5 p.m. on January 29th. Shelley mentioned the info sessions. There is a page that will be in the town report, but those will be Thursday, February 1st and Thursday, February 15th as part of the regular select board meetings. Appointed positions. We have a long list of positions that are appointed. And that list is somewhere over here in this pile. There it is. Tree warden, animal control, assistant animal control, Northwest Regional Planning, transportation advisory, delinquent tax collector, road commissioner, fire commissioner, Northwest Rail Trail Council, development review board. We have 3 planning commission. Recreation Commission, there are 3 seats up this year, Village Core, 8 of them, and Communications Union District. So those we just need letters of interest by February 29th. Let's see. So much stuff. Absentee ballots. I have the presidential primary ballots already. I will not have town ballots until the beginning of February because I can't even order them until after that January 29th deadline for people to get their petitions in. The school also can't order their ballots till after that date. So once I have the school and the town, I've already got the presidential primary ones. You can order your absentees anytime. You can call me, stop and see me, email me. You can order them through the voter portal online. But I'll be getting those out probably the second week of February once I have all of the pieces. Polls will be open 7 to 7 at town meeting at the school. The floor meeting starts at 9, not 10. We had some people show up late last year that were not happy, but we did vote on that pre-COVID to change the start time. Then we had those years where we weren't on the floor. So it's at 9, and we do have a full town meeting warning this year, so I don't anticipate it to be a quick meeting. Maybe it will be. I don't know. Let's see. I think that's almost everything. Excess weight permits, I've mailed those out to anybody that's got one in past years to drive on our roads with excess weight on your trucks. Dog licensing's going good. We're up to 80 something already. We've got about 800 more to go. Our clinic is March 23rd. And I think the only other thing I have for you guys is a bunch of liquor and tobacco license renewals, so you'll have to go into the liquor control board and we'll do those.
So I exit your select board meeting.
Oh, you wanna do that now?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a motion to exit?
I'll make the motion to exit.
Okay, a motion to stop,
Second.
second by Mary. Okay. Then, can I have a motion to enter executive session?
Liquor control.
Liquor control.
Liquor control board.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, have that.
I'll second it.
Second by Scott.
Okay, so now that we're in, we have, and I guess we can do these by establishment. I have a lot of them. Okay, so the first one I have is RL Valley, which is the, I think they go by Highgate Village Market, the Irving Station. So they have a license here for a second-class liquor license, a tobacco license, and a tobacco substitute endorsement. So those three are for RL Valley. Do you want to do
Make
that?
a motion, you want
Yeah,
to all
let's do a
together?
motion by establishment.
Individual.
Okay, you individual, okay?
I'll make a motion that we sign this.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Ayes have it, 5-0.
Okay, next is Jolly Associates.
Okay, do I have a motion?
We have
Make
a,
a motion.
there's a second class liquor license, a tobacco, and a
Okay, got a
tobacco
second?
substitute.
I'll second.
So who is it, Scott
And me.
and Vern? Okay.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Good one, Mary. All right, Mary. Okay, next is the Tyler Place. They have a first-class liquor license, a third-class liquor license, and 2 outside consumption permits.
I'll make the motion to accept them.
Okay, second? Mary?
Second.
Second for Kyle, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ayes have it, 5-0.
And Martin's General Store, we have a second-class liquor license and a tobacco.
I'll make that motion.
And motion by Vern, a second
Second.
by Mary, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's everybody. The only one I haven't gotten paperwork on yet is from David. I'm sure that's coming. Other than that, if you want to make a motion to come out.
Yeah, can I make a motion to come out of the exec?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, by Mary and Vern.
Okay. The only other thing I have is the town meeting warning, and it's not ready because we need wording on those 2 articles.
I've got it.
We need to make a motion.
Oh, yeah.
Back and come out.
Hey, can I make a motion to go back, can I get a motion to go back into regular session?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
If you want to read the articles until you get to where you have me, I have Ed's email.
Okay. Hold, please. So I emailed you all this. The first 3 articles are actually on the ballot. It's the 11 elected officers, so cemetery commissioner, library trustee, lister, moderator, and 4 select board. So the only one whose term is not up here is Richard. The second article is the authorized cannabis retailers, which was petitioned. And the third one, by statute, we have to ask this question on the ballot. It is to authorize the elimination of the office of lister to be replaced with outside assessors.
We didn't get any.
We got 1 nibble. I don't know if they've submitted a professional proposal yet. They're not due till February 1st.
Oh, okay.
So the 3 lister positions will be on the ballot in case this question is a no.
if people are gonna vote it down, they better be prepared to fill those jobs.
Exactly.
Because we gotta do something. We've tried to fill them and it's been an uphill battle.
Yeah.
So from the floor, article starts with Article 4, to receive and act upon the officers from the past year. Article 5 is setting the tax date as Thursday, October 31st. Article
4 p.m.
By 4 p.m., which is when we close.
Trick or treat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Article 6, we are forced to bring this back because Highgaters seem to want to table everything. Do we want to move to all public questions and budgets to Australian ballot? It was tabled from the floor last year, so we're bringing it back. Articles 7 and 8 are the articles that I'm waiting for wording.
So, Article 7. Shall the voters of the town of Highgate give approval for the village wastewater construction and authorize general fund expenditures up to $200,000 to be paid toward the total project cost of $4 million?
So are we reversing the order of these?
Yes, I reversed the order.
Okay, I was gonna say, that's Article 8. Okay, so that's now Article 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Article 8, shall the voters of the town of Highgate give approval for the town to sell 1 plus or minus acres of land from the village core property to Cathedral Square, a non-profit corporation, for the express purpose of developing senior housing in the amount of $100,000.
I'll plug those in now when you guys go into executive and get signatures later. Okay, so those are Articles 7 and 8 from the floor. Article 9 is the $5,000 being asked from Franklin County Field Days to assist with relocation expenses. So that's Article 9. Article 10 is the capital improvement plan, $585,000, with $485,000 to be raised by taxes because you were using $100,000 of ARPA funds to offset that. Article 11 is the highway fund, $1,060,134, with an estimated $899,134 to be raised by taxes. And Article 12 is the general fund, $1,413,307, with an estimated $707,147 to be raised by taxes. And then Article 13 is the other business legally authorized and anybody who wants to complain about kind of thing. So we have 13 articles this year.
Big amount.
We had, I think, 8 last year. So it'll be a busy day. It'll be a busy day. So I don't, if you take into account what Sharon read to you for Articles 7 and 8, if you are happy with what you saw and heard, if you want to make a motion to accept that, I can fix it up when you go into executive and get you to sign it later.
I'm good with whatever.
I'm good with it.
Very good with the,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay? Okay, so, maybe you can have a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the articles.
I'll second that.
We're in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Opposed?
And the way I just emailed you the language from the lawyer, so.
Thank you. Copy and paste. Okay, so I'll get you to sign that later, and I'm done. I'm done.
Wow.
Okay, so I have a crap load.
Sharon, before you go into that, I have a question on the $100,000. Was that, is that what they typically get from other towns, pay for? Like, where did that number come from with Cathedral Square?
That number kind of came from just a general conversation together. We knew we had 250 in it.
Right.
And we kind of knew that we wanted to do basically 4 separate developments, so that's how it broke down.
I wasn't sure if that's just what they typically would pay.
No, sometimes they pay nothing. Yeah. Okay, lots of signatures. So, the first two, the fire department has confirmed their quotes for their valves that they wanted and for the aluminum body and installation that's coming out of the ARPA funds. They would like you to sign them so that we can get that ordered.
Now, we already approved that, right?
Correct.
Yes.
So I just can sign it.
While we're doing that, I can tell you that I have bad news.
Whoa, whoa.
At 5 o'clock today, I was told by FEMA that we have been denied for the flooding this summer.
Figures.
Yeah. So, and that request had Phil Scott's signature on it, so we went as high as we could go to try to push the issue, so, yeah, that kinda sucked.
So was that the appeal that got denied?
Says that appeal?
Yes, that was the appeal that got denied.
They say why?
No. They said we could call them to talk about it, but they do not consider our appeal worthy, which is a lesson learned, because for any new site plans or drawings or engineering sketches, we want to make sure that nobody accidentally puts something on there that they're not 100% sure is a problem, because otherwise the town will be responsible for it. Because all of this was over a visual inspection that we lost basically $1 million. Next one is the certificate of highway mileage. Everything is the same because we just did updates in the spring. So I need to have all of the select board signed starting there.
You don't need no motion or?
You should motion, yes.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we sign.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it?
Put your signature.
I have
Be up there.
two grant agreements to be signed. This was the $131,000 that we received. The first one's for $94,125. That's a brick grant, which is to study the Macy Road and find out what we really need to do to make that situation better. The second one is $6,275 for the administration of the $94,000 grant.
Is there an archaeological dig involved?
You bet your buttons.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely everything.
Yes.
Starting before they can do that.
Okay, can I have a motion on the Vermont, state of Vermont standard agreement? Agreement,
Yeah, so you can call it a brick grant.
a brick grant?
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
Okay.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay, Richard, you sign here, and then you have to put your initials all along these little lines.
Jeez.
I know.
Usually you end up with payment after that.
Then next, I'd like approval for Barnard and Jarvis to do our survey on the Macy property. It is over $5,000, it's $6,000 total, but they were the cheapest bid that we put out.
That was for property lines or?
Yeah, that's for surveying for property lines so that we can subdivide.
Call a motion? Second?
I'll second.
Scott? Okay.
Who were the other bids you received?
Day land surveying for 6,800, Krebs and Lansing for 9,450 plus reimbursables, so travel and everything. Barnard and Jarvis was 6,000, Dubois and King was 16,500, and AES Northeast was 6,500.
Are they coming from Texas?
Who was the third one? Day, Krebs and Lansing?
Day, Krebs and Lansing, Barnard and Jarvis, then Dubois and King,
Who was in King?
and then AES.
Yep. Maybe put on trying to make sense.
The other bad news I have for you is we have received our common level of appraisal, and it ain't good.
What is it?
How close are we?
We are 78.83,
What's the,
80,
oh,
right, that's
So
the,
we gotta do another,
so we will be,
I think there's so many towns ahead of us that we still have a long ways to go before we see a reappraisal.
like years?
really?
Towns in Franklin County at 70%.
Yeah, the way the market just blew up, they can't keep up.
Oh, because values went through the roof, so then assessments went crazy.
Nobody to do the work.
And then right, with the very few assessors that we have in the state.
right.
So if the economy takes a, and housing values go down, does that bring our CLA down?
That's what happened last time we got reappraised, 2008, and everything tanked.
So hopefully that, not hopefully, but hopefully that happens prior to a reappraisal.
Just a little one.
Just a little. Just a little adjustment.
So the other thing I have is grant review. So you have a list in front of you, that'll be printed in the town report. I did notice an error this morning when I was looking, it is short 1.457791 of the ARPA grant that's going toward the wastewater. So you know what's going on with Village Core. The airport, Vernon asked about what's going on with the airport. The airport our engineer's been sending beaucoup documents to EDA for a notice to proceed. They have to basically give them 4 million documents before they'll say, okay, you can put it out to bid now, and that's the process we're stuck in. We should have everything now, we've had multiple back and forth, but I think they have everything. So with any luck, we'll have a notice to proceed, which means then we can put the project out to bid and hopefully start that project in the spring. The transfer station, that's already gone to bid, so Wright's Construction will start that project as soon as the environmental people give them the okay to start over there. The Macy Road is a drama. Our engineers have finished what they needed to do for the immediate future, but now it's funding. So we're waiting to see if we get approved for additional state funding. And if not, we're gonna have to find some funding somewhere else. But in the process, we're also gonna wanna do some backtracking and make sure that the fix that we are proposing actually will work. So that is a project for another year. So basically the transfer station and airport are pretty much a go. Wastewater, we'll see what happens at the vote. Senior housing, same thing. If the vote doesn't pass, we'll still try to do at least one other vote. We'll try to get more information out there. That tends to be what the problem is people don't know, we don't reach them with the information. So we are sending out postcards to all the registered voters, 1 per household. We're trying to get as many people into meetings and get the information out there, so please feel free to share. We have a policing contract to review, but we'll do that in executive because it's contractual. The CIP, you all saw the new updated one that Shelley sent you. There is copies on the table. $585,000 for the capital improvement plan, but you have agreed to take $100,000 of the ARPA money to put toward that. And then we've already reviewed the articles. So that's it for me.
Oh, not bad.
Nope, wasn't too bad.
I got a question. Are we close to any deadlines for grant monies or that we've been with the airport? Are we fear of losing anything that's been?
No, the great people that I've been working with have been really great about giving extensions when we need them. We apply and it's been a pretty straightforward approval. So far, we're in good standing. I would hope, I know Wright's considered the transfer station a 5-month project. That of course depends on weather. Hopefully the weather won't be like last year and it rains all the time, because then it'll be one sloppy mess over there. But hopefully once we get a contractor for the airport, it'd be nice if they could have that done by the end of the year. And that would be 2 large grants that we could close out and figure out where we stand with money. Which, you know, Shelley and I juggle these numbers and we want to make sure, you know, we have enough to cover everything.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, send it all out and wait for reimbursement.
Right. So I have.
That's it?
Yeah, just policing and
I'll make the motion that we adjourn our regular meeting, go into executive.
Okay.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.